The energy secretary made an announcement saying um, that 20 million barrels had been flowing through the strait in the past 24 hours, which, if true, that means we're back to pre-war levels. However, um, I was also looking at another article from the Times of Israel, which I'm not sure if to trust it or not, saying that from analyst firm Kepler, there were 71 confirmed transits over the weekend. And before the war, there were about 100 to 130 vessels that passed through the strait each day. So maybe there were 20 million barrels going through smaller ships. I mean, smaller number of ships. But yeah, I mean, if this is true, hopefully gasoline, petrol prices go down by a lot, back to pre-war levels. But just want to see what your intake on this is.
So what's the exact question? Let me see. Let me see Brent oil. Ooh, actually, we haven't checked this for a while. Guys, oh my God, we're under 73. Brent crude oil price is 72.82. Holy shit. Whatever is the way, there's that at least. Hopefully, this will have a huge impact on the. Hopefully, this will reduce the Democrats' hold on power. We'll see. But sorry, Noah, can you ask a question again? You
Yeah,
just made.
so
Yeah, go on.
yeah. So do you believe the report from the energy secretary when like we're back to pre-war levels? Do you think he's right on that?
The traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, are we back at pre-war levels? That's the question. The traffic at the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes.
Okay. So here's Noah, I'm gonna give you a scenario and I have no idea if this is right or not. Okay. But I'll give the theory and you tell me if you think this is how likely it is that this is happening, right? What if President Trump and Ghalibaf came to an understanding that, listen, we're gonna immediately get the traffic levels to normal at the Strait of Hormuz, okay? And then Ghalibaf like, but no, but I can't do that. If I do that, if the Strait of Hormuz is open, I'm not going to be able to have the upper hand within the regime, and I'm not going to be able to do what you want me to do, like like the good little bitch that I'm supposed to be for you, President Trump, so that you don't kill me. And Trump is like, okay, okay, I'll do you a favor. Open the Strait of Hormuz completely, and then I'll get all the supplies, all supply out. Uh, I'll go tell everybody that the strait is open. But here's what we do: we get all the ships to turn off their transponders, and they go through the Strait of Hormuz at night. So there's no evidence that the ships are going through. You don't shoot at them. They go through. You go tell your people that it's closed. I go tell my people that it's open. Oil prices will drop. And then Ghalibaf is like, okay, okay, can I do some radio messages to the ships telling them not to go through because the Strait of Hormuz is open? And then Trump's like, fine, put those radio messages out there, but no drones, no missiles at commercial ships. Just do a radio message out there, but that's about it. And like, okay, then go tell your retarded followers that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, but we know, me and you know it's open. And then the best way, but nobody could see that the Strait of Hormuz is open because they're going through the Strait of Hormuz at night with the transponders off. So he could claim that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And you have the radio messages to prove that. But again, even though nobody could see, the market sees the supply. Because how do you explain if the Strait of Hormuz is not as open as we think? How do you justify oil prices at 72.82? Remember, people were thinking that, oh my God, the market is so stupid. Why are the oil prices not at, I don't know, 200, but the Strait of Hormuz is closed? And they realized that the market was not stupid. The amount of oil that was coming through the Strait of Hormuz was actually much higher than people knew because, the American Navy was very successful at getting these ships through. So I forgot what the number was, but a lot more oil was coming through the Strait of Hormuz than people realize, and the market sees the supplies and prices prices each barrel based on the supply. And now that the price is a lot, so much below 80, maybe the Washington, the White House is correct that it's open, and CENTCOM is correct that it's open, and the Islamic Republic is full of shit like they usually are. So maybe that's what's happening. Um, and again, that's that theory that I just came up with over what the deal is between Ghalibaf and Trump. If that is the case, it also shows you that the MOU is just for show, and there are other agreements that are happening behind the scenes. What do you think, Noah?
I think that's very likely because that is exactly what happened uh, right before the ceasefire when the ships turned their transponders off and they were guided through the strait. So yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Thank you for the enlightenment as usual.
Okay. By the way, just to be clear, I don't know if that is true. I just offered it as
Yeah,
a
but it
option.
makes sense. But it makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's go on to super chat. Super chat.
We got one super chat from Hamid. Thank you so much, Hamid, saying, "Hey Jeffrey, how are you doing, buddy?" Jeffrey, are you here? He has a full question for you. He's saying, "Hey Jeffrey, how are you doing, buddy? As an Iranian, we feel betrayed. I hope I'm wrong, but Trump saved IRGC from certain collapse and didn't let Israel destroy the IRGC, buddy." So, Jeffrey, what do you want to say to Hamid?
Uh, First, just know that regardless of what happens at the national level or how it's misrepresented by the regime remnants filter net, the people who sacrificed themselves during the January protests, what they obtained can never be removed or wiped away by the regime remnants. Everybody, all the free peoples in the world know that the regime and now its regime remnants does not represent the people of Iran, and you will never have to walk that road alone again. That being said, I'm going to move on to your question. I I would not dismiss, I wouldn't be so presumptuous to dismiss how you feel. What I'm The decisions that are made has nothing to do with hating Iranian people. We're just moving on to the additional phase of liberating Iran, in many ways track two material support strategies, in part underwritten by the fact that there are challenges we have to juggle vis-a-vis Putin's criminalized counterintelligence state, the Chinese Communist Party, and certain other people that undermine the efficacy of the conventional military phase of Operation Epic Fury. President Trump loves Iranian people, bro. Like, when those reports that are made where Bibi showed President Trump what the Mullah regime did to kids, that was like a day before he loaded bombs on planes to kill them. Like, he had to walk out of the Oval Office. He was so angry. And while it is not the primary issue, I would never be dishonest and say that, it was a strong secondary issue. And that love is still there to this day. Even if regardless if we have to pivot and it's not as expeditious as Iranians justly deserve, I meant what I said. The free peoples of the world are all with you. You will never have to walk that road alone again.
One thing I want to mention, guys, is that to whatever you think about the leaders of these countries, you know, Israel, United States, we have as people of Iran and Israel and United States, we might disagree over the whether the strategies, the political strategies of these governments were correct or not. Except like when it comes to the Islamic Republic state, I think we all agree, fuck them. But one thing that we need to like, there is a different bridge that is being built here. We have the states, and they're dealing with each other, and the terrorist groups and the states, they're dealing with each other. But separate from that, we, the people, we should be able to build a bridge between us, regardless of what's happening between them. And if we get upset with the leaders, the political leaders, I think we should figure out a way not to let that ruin the relationship that we have with each other. The Iranian people, the Israeli people, and the American people, I think, even if we disagree, even if we passionately disagree on the policies, in Washington D.C. or in Jerusalem, we should still, like, there is value in finding ways to continue working with each other and cooperating with each other, because I think, even if we disagree with strategy, a lot of us want the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, just a quick add on. When I was a little more passionate before, it's not because it's red tie, blue tie, even though I'm very much a supporter of President Trump. It wasn't like I'm defending, you can't criticize the office of the president or a policy. Rather, it was my anger stems from the co-option of that just act to serve a partisan goal at the direct cost of Iranian people, who then hear that and think somehow they've been abandoned. I promise you, nobody's abandoned you. And Armin is 100% right. When I say the free peoples of the world are with you, independent of what happens at the national level or how it's misrepresented by the regime remnants, I mean that. Right? You have Ukrainian defense forces that are getting ready, that are getting involved. You have global war on terror veterans that love you. The patriotic bloc loves you. I just don't know how to, I can't reiterate that strongly enough, man. You're never, the road is obviously long and the journey hard. You will never be alone again.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.